Thank you for being with us today. I'm very happy to be joining you in this session. We will be talking about some research techniques that you can use when trying to search for resources for your literature review. During the session, I assume that you're all familiar with some databases, at least, where you have done already some research in databases. And we will be dividing the session into two parts. The first part, we will be talking about those techniques and how to search in a database, how to benefit from these techniques to get the most relevant results that you need for your literature review. And then we will go to the website to showcase or to demonstrate how to search within particular couple of databases. First of all, allow me to introduce myself very briefly. My name is Joyce Awais. I'm the Information Literacy Librarian at HBKU Library. I'm joined also today by my colleague, Mr. Faisal Al-Bishri, and we will be delivering the session virtually, as well as we have some students in class with us today. If anyone has any questions, feel free to just open the mic and ask your questions. If you'd like to type in the chat, you're also welcome to use the chat, and we will get to your questions as soon as we can. But if you have any questions, just you'd like to use the mic, also you may at any time. So in this session, we will be talking particularly about as we said, the research techniques, mainly how to search a database, and when searching a database, how to best manage the keywords that we put into the database, how to apply specific research techniques, and how to manage some results that we get in the database, especially if you have a lot or if you have too few, and how we can improve the outcome of the search. When we talk about searching a database, I assume at that stage that you already have your thesis statement or question or hypothesis already ready. You have it. So the best or the first part to step with is to define the main concept in your thesis statement. So if we take an example, the following: impact of political ideologies on social policies. In that statement itself, what do you think are the major concepts that we can focus on? Main ideas, main subjects, main concepts in this statement. What could they be? Okay, so the first one is political ideologies. And we have the social policies. So we have two main subjects. The word impact, the word advantage, disadvantage, inconvenience, all of these are not valuable concept terms. So these are general. They can appear in any research paper, so they are not really indicative or really helpful in your research. Do not use them. They will not make a difference in the search results. What really makes a difference are meaningful subject or concept terms that will be providing you with the relevant results. Once you have the concepts defined in your topic, the next step will be for each concept to list or to provide a list of keywords or relevant terminologies that you can use for each concept at a time. And then you go to the database, you start with a general search using one or two keywords, and then later on you start adding more keywords and refining your search using the filters. But why? Does anyone know why we start a search in a general way with one or two keywords only, although it might not give us the very relevant results that we need? Why is it recommended to start your research in a general way at the beginning? Yes, Sabika, correct. To get an idea of the availability of information. What else? Any other idea? Any other benefits? If you look at the points and how to search a database, you will see here there is the second point, which says this keyword options for each concept. So at some point, you might have come up with, let's say, 5, 6 keywords for the first concept, but you have only 1 or 2 for the second. When you do a general research, you might come across some broad articles that might not be very relevant, but they could help you come up with new keywords to use that could be more relevant to your own subject. So you can use those keywords later on when you start doing a more detailed research or more focused research. So also it will help to provide you with additional keywords that you didn't think of. And a third benefit would be sometimes it might be helpful, although you might not want to do this at the last minute, but it might be helpful in guiding you to switch your topic or maybe to approach it from a new angle that you didn't think of before. It might give you some insights on your topic that you did not consider earlier. So it also could be helpful in terms of how you approach your topic and not simply the research. So starting in a general way could open up your perspectives, could broaden them a little bit, also could provide you with relevant keywords to add so that you can use them in the next step. Let's work on this example. So I have impact of political ideologies on social policies, and we have defined the main concepts that are political ideologies and social policies. So in that case, if I want to start listing the keywords for each concept, let's start with political ideologies. Does anyone have any relevant keywords that I can use in this case? For the first concept, political ideologies. Any ideas of keywords to be used? What, instead of political ideologies as the word itself, what other keywords can I use?
I think governance.
Sorry?
Governance. The government.
Governance, yes. Governance is a good keyword. What else? Thank you, Dean. What about communism, for example? Or democracy? So all of these political ideologies can be listed in this. For what about social policies? Any other keyword for social policies? Okay, so I'm going to show you here a list of some examples of relevant keywords that we can do. For example, we have for political ideologies, communism, which is a narrower, more specific term, liberalism as well, social democracy, anarchism, politics in terms of as a broader term, government or governance as a broader term. For social policies as well, we have a different list that includes narrower terms or broader terms. So how can we manage these keywords to have as many relevant keywords as we can, so that we can have more relevant articles when we search for them?
So Joyce, should we be
Yes.
looking for like synonyms of the words, like as a way of approaching it?
Yes, I mean, that's a very good idea. So we can look for broader or narrower terms. As you said, we can look for synonyms or closely related terms, and we can also look for opposite terms, or also known as antonyms. So sometimes the synonyms can be helpful, but also the antonyms can be very helpful, like health and disease, health and sickness. So sometimes the antonyms can be also very relevant. You can, and once you have the list of keywords set and ready, you can start combining and trying different combinations of these keywords within the databases. How can we combine and how do we search within a database? The basic default approach of most of the users is to go into the database and type the whole sentence. That includes pronouns, that includes prepositions. All of these pronouns, prepositions, connecting terms, they are not very helpful or useful in the search, because if I use the or in or at, you're going to find them in all of the articles. So they're not actually making a difference in the search results. What makes a difference in the search results are the main keywords that you're using, and connecting them together using what we call the Boolean operators will tell the database how to or what to bring up for you in the results. Is anyone familiar with the Boolean operators?
Yeah, so for example, you can put, if there's two words, you can put in a parenthesis, or you can actually do a plus sign. That way it basically considered that both has to be present.
Okay, the concept is correct. However, the plus sign is not used in all of the databases. I will show you now the Boolean operators that are generic, that are used and acknowledged by all the databases, which are the and, the or, and the not. So these are the main major Boolean operators that are can be used across all databases. So the first one, if you look at the and, so if I use one keyword and then I type and then I type the second keyword, it's like I'm telling the database, for example, cloning and religion. So I'm telling the database I want articles containing both keywords in my text. So this way I will get articles that contain cloning as well as religion in the text. But if the article contains only cloning, and it will not appear in my search results. So I'm already narrowing down my search results by telling the database to provide me only with those articles. would that be helping me to get more relevant results? Yes or no? Yes. If I'm using, on the other hand, the or. So if you look at the design, when I type cloning or religion and I search in the database, it's going to give me the results, whether or it's going to give me articles that contain either cloning alone or religion alone, or both keywords in the text. So it will give me the articles that I'm looking for, but it will also give me what? The articles that are not containing both of the keywords, so they probably be irrelevant to my research. However, there is a use for the or that we're going to see how we're going to benefit from it. Which one will provide me more relevant articles, you think? واصلين على not. Which one between and or will give me more relevant results? The and. But which one will give me a bigger number of results? The or. So it depends on what I need. We will see how we can benefit from these tools in a little bit. When it comes to the not, if you're doing your research and you notice that there is, even if you use the and, there is, for example, cloning and religion, and you keep seeing articles containing the word, let's say, child, okay, randomly. And I want to omit this from the search result, and I want to focus on cloning and religion, let's say animals. So in that case, I can put cloning and religion, not child. This way, the results or the articles containing child will be removed from the search results. So the not will eliminate from my search results articles containing the keyword that comes after it. These keywords, these Boolean operators, they are simply logical connectors that provide the database with a certain order or algorithm to work on, so that it provides me the articles that I need. Now, how do we combine using and, the or, and the not within one search syntax? We use what we call the nested queries. So as Amin mentioned earlier, we use the parentheses and we can combine different keywords. Let's look at this option. First, before I go into details with the nested query, I want to go back to this slide and I want to show you the two columns for the two concept terms that we have. Political ideologies, it has all of the keywords relevant to it in one column. So all of these, we consider them, let's consider them as synonyms, okay, for topic 1. And for topic 2, we have the other list. So when it comes to communism, liberalism, social democracy, they could all be falling under political ideologies. So if I want to search for political ideologies and social policies, instead of doing 7 combinations, communism and social policy, anarchism and social policy. So I can combine all of the synonyms of the same topic in one parenthesis, and I can have them all connected with or. So one topic, all of the keywords for one concept or one topic can be combined in one parenthesis, and the other keywords for the other topics can be combined in another parenthesis, and then I can combine them both with and. This way, as if I'm telling the database, like, give me everything about political ideologies with all the keywords that I mentioned, and everything related to social policy with all those keywords that I mentioned, but both in separate parentheses. This one search will save me saving the time or the effort of doing 7 and 8 search syntaxes instead of 1. Okay, so this is one way. There are, of course, different combinations depending on the search, depending on the topic, on the keywords, but this is the logic behind using the and the or. Notice also that I used the quotation mark between for some of these keywords. We will see that it's called phrase searching, which will come shortly after, and it's only to keep the expression as is in the search, so that it doesn't give me political alone and ideologies alone. I want it to be the phrase as is, so I put it in between quotation mark. Any questions related to the nested queries? All right. Another feature or another technique you can use in research to save time and effort, it's either the truncation all the wildcards. So for example, political ideologies. Ideology could be ideology one in single. It could be ideologies in plural, IES at the end. So instead of having to do both political ideology or political ideologies, I can simply replace the end of the word where the letters change, remove them, and put the symbol, which is in this case the asterisk symbol. So this is an example. Ideology, and then I put the asterisk. This way, the database will search for articles containing words starting with this root, and it could end with either ideology or ideologies or ideological. So it depends. This way, I'm kind of broadening a little bit my results, allowing the database to give me more relevant articles instead of having to type every possible keyword starting with this root word. Another way to also use, or another technique, is called the wildcards, which is the same concept, but instead of the end of the word, it can be also used in the middle of the word or at the beginning. For example, it's mostly at the middle of the word. When do we use such example? Such tool, such technique in the words that have plural and single within the middle of the word, like women or men. You can use the mark, either the asterisk or the pound symbol or the question mark in the middle of the word. This way, the database will give me articles containing either women in singular, MAN, or women in plural, MEN. It can also be used with the different pronunciation between the British and the American English. For example, color, COLOR or COLOUR. So I can just put the asterisk and it will give me the difference between the two. So it could be, I could write color, and after the second O, I can put the asterisk. So it could be 0 without adding the U, or it could be with the U. So these are only to save you multiple searches. You can do them by using the asterisk in the middle of the word. Any questions on this part? Now, sometimes those wildcards or truncations could change, like the symbol could change from one database to another. If you're not sure, you try to use them and you think they're not working in a certain database, all you need to do is go to the search tips on that database to double check which symbol they use for the truncation or for the wildcards. As you see, I've mentioned 3 of them. These are the most commonly used, but some databases, for example, might not use the asterisk as a wildcard. It will only use it as a truncation symbol. So you might want to confirm, and you go to the help section or the search tips within that database, and you can confirm which symbol they use. Phrase searching, as mentioned earlier, it's basically to search for expressions or sentences or titles or quotes in their exact order. So they have to be, if you want to search for them as they are in a sentence, you just wrap that sentence with the quotation marks. Whatever comes within the quotation mark will be searched as is, comparing to the articles in the database. If anything is available, it will show up in the results. And this will, of course, narrow down your search, but it will be relevant to what you're looking for. So if you remember a statement or a quote in an article, and you want to see if that article is available, it's best to put the quotation mark around that article, that statement or that phrase, and search for the article itself. Another technique you can use that will be more focused and more relevant in your search is called the field search. And it's usually available in the advanced search of databases. And we will see that when we come to the live demo. You can search specifically the field of the authors. If you're interested in an article written by a certain researcher or academic, you can specifically by title or words in the title itself. Or you can search by publication date, by DOI sometimes, by journal title, abstract. If you're interested in a certain word and to look for articles that mention a certain keyword in the abstract, you can also search in the abstract field. All of these field searches can be done through the advanced search. And within the advanced search, you will also see the Boolean operators mentioned to help you combine the search not only with the keywords. So it's not only and or will be using will be connecting the keywords, but it can also connect the fields as well. Now, my question for you guys, if after I've done my research, I come across or I get too many results in the database, how can I manage my results? What steps from these techniques that we have seen yet so far, what can we do to minimize the number of results? If I get too many results, how can I decrease the results using those techniques that I have just mentioned? Okay, Rana here says by using nested queries, correct. So we have the nested queries. Anybody from the joining us online have any input? Okay, so Rana mentioned also using the nested queries. I would say add more keywords or more concepts. This way you're combining them with and will minimize the number of results as well. Use phrase searching, because if you remove the quotation marks, it will search for the words separately in the article and not as a phrase. You can also shorten the date range. So the date range also is a factor that helps you minimize or increase the number of results. You can remove truncation if it is used, or wildcard if it's used. This way also the words will be less. And apply field search, which could also limit to searching within a certain field, and eventually use the Boolean operator AND. On the other hand, if we have too few articles and we need to look at more articles, what do we do in that case? I think this should be easier. Use or, correct. Broaden the topic, yes. Increase date range, correct.
Use what?
Yes. So basically all of the opposites. So we broaden the topic, we use less keywords or less concept, we add synonym keywords combined with or, like we used in the nested queries. We remove the phrase searching if we have used it, we expand the date range, we add truncation and wildcard, we open the search to include all of the fields and not simply a particular field, and so on. That said, it covers all of the basic techniques. Does anyone have any questions before we move to the live demo of the session? It's time now to go to the live demonstration. So we're going to show you on the website, I'm going to apply those research techniques in the databases to see how they work. Okay, so now that we're on the library website, I'm going to go to the database tab, and I'm going to start with the database called JSTOR, which most of the students refer to already. And by clicking on JSTOR from the list, I can access it whether on campus or off campus. Here you can type the search syntax using, for example, political ideologies and social, let's say policy only. Now, the keywords that I search for could be, since I just have done a general search, the keyword might not show in this part or might not show in the title, but they could be part of the full text. So they might not be highlighted in the results, but if we open the article, they might be part of the full text. This is why they will appear in the search results. This is, for example, the third article. We have the word policy, we have political, and we have here we have political ideologies as expression, and we have political itself alone. This is why when we use the phrase searching around political ideologies, now we have, look first, before I do the search, we have 88,000, around 89,000 articles. If I add the phrase searching, do you think the number will increase or decrease? It should decrease because I'm limiting to only political ideologies, not political alone and ideologies alone. So let's see how the number will, how much it will decrease. It's now 7,000. So this is the effect of using phrase searching, and it will show in the results as well. Okay, So this is how you can simply use the, let's try the nested query. So, or let's say communism or democracy and policy. It should increase, right? It increased even more than using only political ideologies. So I added more keywords with or, more synonyms or more relevant terms to one topic, and the number of results has increased. Okay, so this is how these research techniques can affect. So if you have too few, this is how you can increase the results, and eventually you might cover some more relevant articles that you did not cover earlier. If you have too many and you need to decrease, then you can decrease to have more relevant articles. Of course, you can always use the filters at the side, so you can limit the date range from, let's say, 2015 to 2024. And it will also, it should decrease. So it's now 54,000 articles. And so on. So the filters will differ from one database to another, but the concept is the same. The logic behind them is the same. If you go to the advanced search, you can see here that you can include the terms, let's say democracy, for example. And you can search different fields. Let's say I want it only in the title. And I can use the Boolean and here with, let's say, policy. And I want the policy also to be in the title. I can also add, let's say, Smith, just as an example. And I want publications by an author named, okay, randomly named Smith, that are about democracy and policy. So this is why this is how I can combine in the advanced search of the databases, use the Boolean operators with not only keywords in the title or the abstract or the full text, but also in other fields like the author, the date, and so on. And then I can search. So the advanced search usually, and especially if you use different fields and field searching, will be very focused and very narrow. So we have here 29 results. Of course, depending on which fields you're searching and how much information you're adding or how many fields you're looking into at the same time, it will affect the number of results. Any questions on this database before I move to another one? Okay, so I'm gonna go to ProQuest. So I go to the letter P and I go to ProQuest Center. And you can as well do the general search using the syntax here, but I'm gonna go to the advanced search. And see the different fields offered by this database over JSTOR. So this database will allow you also to limit by source type, by document type, by language ahead of time. So you can be more thorough with your results. Publication date, you can choose, let's say, last year, or you can specify the date range that you would like, 2019 to 2024. I want only to look at scholarly journals, and I want the document type to be either article or, let's say, conference proceeding, and I want the language to be only in English. And I can here add my keywords. Let's say, I want to show you the political ideology with truncation and social policy also with truncation. And search. Okay, I use the and in the first field, but I can still like divide them into two fields. Okay, look at this first article, we have ideology, and not ideologies, but we have political and we have policies. So it's using different ending of the word. When I use the truncation, I get the political and I get the policies as well. So we have, like, it's not just one word. It's not only policy in singular. I also get the policies in plural. I get the ideological in this case. In other articles, I get ideology in single. So this is how the truncation works. Here, the filters are more thorough than a previous database. If you want to modify the search on PropQuest, you can simply click on modify here instead of having to redo it all over again. When you click on modify, the same fields that you have selected are still there. So you can only switch, let's say I want to remove conference proceedings. I can just remove conference and update my search again. I can add more keywords here. Okay, so here, if I remove this and I type or communism or let's say social democracy, I put it in phrase searching. So I'm trying to apply most of the techniques at the same time. Here I want the and. So the first field, it's like the first parenthesis where I put all the ors together. And the second field will be for the second concept, which is, let's say, welfare as policy or social security. And sorry, this should be or, sorry. Or child protection. Okay, so what I've done here is the first concept, I put it in the first field with or, all of the synonyms or all of the keywords for one topic, and all of the keywords of the other topic in the second field. And I search. I use the phrase searching and I use the truncation as well. Look at the results. Does it bring me the articles according to my keywords? And here it will explain, it will, on the search bar on the top, it will translate the search query or the search syntax into one sentence with the parentheses as I showed you. So it will provide you with the nested query as it was understood by the database. So I have all of the keywords of this first topic in one parenthesis, ended with the keywords of the second topic in the second parenthesis. Is it too much? Is it confusing? Or you're fine with that? Fine?
This was quite useful. Thank you so much, Joyce. It really helped because I've been trying so hard to find relevant articles, but I keep getting a pool of articles that are completely irrelevant. But this would really help. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure. Thank you. And I would like to highlight also, guys, if you need any help at any time, research support, any help that with doing your research, coming up with the articles, finding them, even if you don't find them, please feel free to reach out. I will share my email in the chat, so you can contact me at any time, and we can either set an appointment together, online, in person, whatever works. Or if you are around and you pass by to the library, just let me know. My office is inside the library. You're always welcome, and I'll be more than happy to work with you on your topic individually. So feel free to reach out at any time you need any kind of help with your research. That said, if no further questions, then I would like to thank you everyone for joining today. It's been a pleasure, and I hope I will see you around across the university or the library. And I wish you all the best in your work, in your research, in your thesis, and your dissertations. And I hope to see you tomorrow in the citation management sessions, because I strongly believe that those citation management tools will be super helpful when you're doing your thesis work.